right, let's jump right in, shall we? Carson Meredith with you. It is 6:24 on this Saturday evening, the last day of August. We do not have our 6 o'clock regular newscast tonight because we've got golf on, it appears, but there is still plenty to talk about in the weather world, and we've got some downpours on radar. Let's jump right into it. Let's not waste any time because over the last hour or so, these downpours have really blown up right along I-64. And, you know, it looked like for a couple of hours earlier today that Louisville wasn't going to see a drop of rain. Mother Nature had other ideas, of course. So here we go. Let's just zoom right into what we're seeing here in Jefferson County. A lot of the county is still dry. The first heavy downpour developed around 5:15, 5:30. It started right over Spaghetti Junction. If you saw on our Facebook page, we posted what the SkyTrack camera looked like as that downpour was moving away from downtown, went basically along Shelbyville Road, near Trinity, through St. Matthews, Linden, Middletown, up towards Anchorage as well. But now, kind of in the wake of that first downpour, we've got more downpours that are developing right along the Ohio River. So let's see, New Albany, Grant Line Road, Blackiston Mill. I know it's not Jefferson County, of course, it's across the Ohio River. But most of these downpours that have just flared up are across Floyd and Clark County. There you see it, basically between the Ohio River and 265 there in Indiana. But that heavy rain is trying to extend into the metro, Portland, Shawnee, California neighborhood. Those folks seeing some pretty heavy rain at the moment. And further to the east, more heavy downpours bubbling up again in the same spots that saw a pretty good dose of heavy rain about an hour ago. So St. Matthews, you're getting in on some more rain. Indian Hills, Crescent Hill, just outside of Clifton, just to the east, a little further down Frankfort Avenue where it becomes Shelbyville Road. Further to the north and east, we got a very heavy downpour over Tom Sawyer Park. Let's see, that intersection right here is Westport and Hurstbourne, near Zachary Taylor Elementary. Very heavy rain coming down in that part of the metro. And you can see additional showers continue across the east end. Crestwood, you guys watching us in Oldham County, seeing a good bit of rain at the moment. And I'll get to your comments in a second, by the way. I just wanted to jump right into radar because we got a lot to talk about, right? Middletown, you're seeing some of that rain up towards Berrytown along Old Henry Road, LaGrange Road, Eastwood out towards Lake Forest and Valhalla. So what has happened really over the last hour or so is there clearly of some sort is a boundary. It's right along I-64. Some sort of boundary in the atmosphere that's been sitting quiet all day, decided to wake up. And that's why these showers and storms have flared up right along that I-64 corridor since about 5 o'clock. And in addition to that, you've got these outflow boundaries. We talk about this all the time in the summer where these storms dump buckets and buckets of rain, a lot of lightning, a little wind, and you get that outflow. You get that gust front, if you will, as those storms start to weaken. And then those outflow boundaries set off other storms. And it's kind of a chain reaction, one after another, after another, after another. And that is why we now have this little narrow line of thunderstorms that stretches from downtown Louisville, from New Albany, from Clarksville, all the way out I-64 into Crawford County. Now the question is, how long will these storms last? Well, that depends on how long this chain reaction goes. If we get more of these outflow boundaries that kind of push out to the south of the storms or even to the north, we may have additional storms fire up in this general area through about sunset tonight. Not a guarantee, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. In fact, you can see some of these outflow boundaries. Let me zoom in radar a little tighter, show you what I'm talking about. So there's one. There's an outflow boundary down towards Mount Washington, Taylorsville. We'll have to see if that boundary can set off additional storms. You got another boundary, another outflow rather, right here. One to the north, one to the south. So that one's going through Charlestown, through much of Oldham County at this point. And again, those are just gusts of wind that come out of collapsing storms. In other words, the storms are falling apart on themselves and they send out a big last gust of wind before they finally fade away. But it's those gusts of wind, that outflow, that causes that chain reaction for more storms. And that is what we'll be watching, my friends. Oh, how about that? We got our first warning of the day. Okay. So let's just sit back and relax for a little bit, huh? All right, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is our first warning of the day. We said the severe weather threat was low, but it wasn't zero. And that's exactly what we've got here this evening. So this new severe thunderstorm warning is for this tiny cell that is right over the outlets there in Simpsonville. So with that in mind, if you will bear with me, friends, I am going to attempt to get the SkyTrack camera we have out there so we can see what this storm looks like. So this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 7:15. And the main issue is 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So this is for southern Shelby County, basically south of Highway 60. It includes Shelbyville. It includes Simpsonville, Olive Branch, as well as that northern sliver of Spencer County. So that is who is under the severe thunderstorm warning. It goes until 7:15, rather. And again, I'll get to your comments in a second, I promise. I just want to see if I can get a good view of this severe storm as it rolls through Shelby County, if the computer will cooperate, and it's not, of course. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the silence. There we go. Okay. Well, maybe not. All right, we'll deal with that later. Anyway, severe thunderstorm warning for Shelby and Spencer County until 7:15 for that one little cell that's right over Simpsonville as we speak. Let me get to the comments. A lot of folks tuning in tonight, like Albert, who's watching us in Frankfurt. Melody says we're finally getting some rain where she's at. Then Carrie says, where's my rain at? Hopefully you'll get some this evening, Carrie, as we go through the next couple of hours. Here's a good report. Heavy rain in New Salisbury. Yeah, that would make sense with that little band of storms that went through. Let's see. Judy says hello from Campbellsville. Elizabeth says not a single drop where she's at. It's the lottery, unfortunately. We talked about it a lot this morning during our sunrise newscast. If you were up early with us, some of us could have seen 2, 3, 4 rounds of storms today, and some of us weren't going to see a single thing. And that's just the way it goes this time of year. Amanda says hello from Bardstown. Got a few showers in her neck of the woods tonight. Yeah, there's been a couple of decent storms, actually, that went through Bardstown. Christy's asking about Hardin County. Hold that thought, Christy. I'll get to you. Nothing in Valley Station, says Renee. Yeah, even in Jefferson County, some of us have seen a ton of rain in the last hour, while others, not so much. All right, let's focus on this severe storm here for a minute. This goes until 7:15, does this warning. It is for Shelby County, southern Shelby County. So basically south of Highway 60, like we talked about earlier. And also for that little sliver of Spencer County. So here's Spencer County, the part that's in the warning. Taylorsville, this is not an issue for you. Taylorsville, you're good. It's if you live north and east of Taylorsville. And basically along I-64, Highway 60. So let's check the winds on this thing. That's what the warning is for, obviously. It doesn't look overly impressive, but what the Weather Service is concerned about is that gust of wind as the storm collapses, like we were talking about a few minutes ago. And it's that little gust of wind that may have 50, 60 miles per hour wind gust. I don't see that at the moment on radar, but it could still happen. So that's why we're going to just sit tight with you here on wave weather now as this severe storm plays out. But again, I'm not seeing a whole lot of wind just yet. We'll check on it here in just a moment. So this storm is moving east very slowly at about 20 miles an hour. So let's track it out for you. And that's another thing we'll have to watch, especially if we continue to see this chain reaction go, where these storms just keep firing over and over again, the same general area. Because these are slow movers, we might have some flooding issues to watch. So here's the latest track on this severe storm. I think this is going to be more of a Shelby County issue personally. The Weather Service always likes to give themselves a little wiggle room in case these storms act crazy, change their minds on where they want to go. But this looks like more of a Shelby County issue at this point. So we're talking near the Hooper community by 6:53. Let's see, getting towards Hemp Ridge by 7 o'clock. Near Harrisonville by 7:13. So in general, this is going to be moving along and south of 64 in Shelby County over the next 40 minutes. So that's where things stand with this lone severe storm. This is the first severe storm of the day. We said the severe threat was low, but it wasn't zero. And I said this morning also that we could have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. And by golly, here we are. So this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 7:15 for Shelby and northern Spencer County. Mainly a Shelby issue, though. Okay, back to the metro real quick, because I know a lot of you are asking about what's going on here. And this particular storm, it's right across the Ohio River, mainly. It's in southern Clark County and Floyd County, but you can see, of course, some of that heavier rain is extending into Jefferson County as well. World Fest. If anybody is watching me on the Belvedere at the moment, get inside if you can. Hopefully they've already told everybody to take cover. We've been sending push alerts on our Wave Weather app to World Fest, to the U of L game all day, making sure everybody knows what's going on with all these outdoor events. So this is what we've talked about. A lot of the day was going to be fine, but when these heavy storms blew up near those events, that's when we'd have trouble. So if you're at World Fest, which is right about here, right there on the Belvedere, there is lightning within this storm. So you need to head for shelter, get off the Belvedere, get somewhere inside as this storm just kind of meanders around downtown Louisville at the moment. In fact, let me switch over real quick to our Jeffersonville SkyTrack camera and look at that rain. You know it's heavy rain when it looks like the raindrops are a bunch of bugs flying around. So we've got very heavy rain, mainly across the river, but some of that heavy rain is kind of seeping into downtown Louisville, if you will. And this storm is not severe, but you can see the intense rain coming down right along the Ohio River. And if these storms sit in the same spot for the next 30 minutes to an hour, we're going to have some flooding issues I'm worried about. So that is something we will continue to monitor. Just saw a good lightning bolt there a few seconds ago, rather. But again, this storm is not severe. That is moving right along the Ohio River. It's got a lot of lightning with it, though. Just in this particular storm, we've had 34 lightning strikes in the last few minutes. Again, if you know anybody at World Fest, if you know anybody at the Racing Louisville game this evening, make sure they know what's going on. I would imagine they would since this storm is so close, but make sure they get somewhere safe, get somewhere inside, get away from windows and things like that. Again, not worried about gusty winds right now, but this is a storm that's definitely packing a little bit of a punch, especially with heavy rain. I'll check the wind. And I don't see anything too alarming at the moment. Bear with me. I'm just looking at different radar sources. Make sure I'm not missing anything. And it doesn't look like it. So again, right along the Ohio River is where we've had really the heaviest storms we had in the metro all day. A lot of us have been dry. Drier than expected, to be honest with you. We got up to 94 today here in Louisville, which was quite a bit warmer than forecast, if we're being honest with you. Okay, questions. How about J-Town, if we're going to get any rain? J-Town, you're one of those poor souls that hasn't gotten lucky so far this evening, I'm afraid. There's J-Town right here, and the heaviest stuff has stayed and continues to stay just north of you, just north and west of you. So maybe we can see some of these storms back build to the south over the next few minutes, but right now it's all staying just north. Tabitha says, what rain? I've just had thunder for the last hour. Very hit and miss stuff today. That's what we were expecting to happen, and that has indeed happened. Alice is asking about Palmyra, Indiana. Okay, so here is Palmyra, right there in northern Harrison County. You're not seeing anything just yet. There's Palmyra. But if you look close, there's a little outflow boundary right there that we were talking about a few minutes ago. So that outflow boundary, Alice, could set off some heavier downpours near your area in the next few minutes. So we'll watch that closely. But right now, not a lot. Debbie has a great question about Lexington for the UK game tonight in particular. That's what I'm keeping a close eye on. Again, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning for Shelby and northern Spencer for another 34 minutes. Here's the situation in Lexington. They've had quite a few more storms today than we have. And they still have storms at this hour. Very heavy rain right over downtown Lexington. Additional storms continue to backbuild to the west. It's just been one after another, after another, after another, all day long for our friends to the east. So the UK game is supposed to kick off in an hour. I'm not sure if that will happen, to be honest with you. They will get the game in tonight. Don't get me wrong. But they're going to have to wait out some storms, it appears. So if you know anybody in Lexington, if you know anybody heading to Kroger Field, give them a call. Let them know that there's still a few storms around Lexington, and there could be more storms moving in as the evening goes on. So there might be some lightning delays for that Cats game later on tonight. Good question, Debbie. Yvonne says, is Bullitt County going to get anything? Well, Bullitt County's had a few downpours today. A few, I emphasize. Not a lot right now, but Yvonne, we got an outflow boundary moving through eastern Bullitt County right there. See that little green arc I'm drawing over? Right there. Stretches from close to the National Weather Service office there in the south end of Louisville through Mount Washington and through Spencer County. I'm going to wait to see if anything tries to fire up along that outflow boundary. So don't give up hope just yet down there in Bullitt County. Lisa reporting from J-Town, no rain just yet. It's close. Man, is it close, but it's not quite there just yet. Shonda's always watching. We appreciate Shonda giving us a good report here. Pouring buckets near Perrin Park. I hope I said that right. In Jeffersonville. I don't doubt that one bit. Jeffersonville has been sitting under this storm for a while now. Let me put radar into motion over the last hour, show you what I'm talking about. See, these storms just blew up. Just nothing there, and then boom, there they went. And they're just not moving. Notice how they are moving west to east, but they're moving over the same spots over and over again. So we're going to have to watch southern Clark County, parts of Floyd County over the next few minutes. We may have some flooding issues pop up here very shortly because it is very humid. It's the most humid day we've really had in wave country all week. So there's a lot of moisture in the air. for these storms to just keep feeding on. And that's why you get these tropical torrential downpours, right? So we appreciate that report, Shonda. Trina says we have a tree down in Clarksville. Okay, good to know. Good to know. The storm's not severe yet, but hey, you can still have damage from non-severe storms. We've seen that plenty of times around here before. Lacey says just starting to come down where she's at in Jeffersonville. Christy's asking about Hardin County. Okay. Hardin County's had some lighter rain in the last little bit. Not enough to really help with the dry conditions or anything like that. And it looks like for the time being, Hardin County is going to dry out. Or as far as any additional rain and storm chances, there's not much on the board at this point. Because I don't expect this stuff in Louisville to get to Hardin County. So, Christy, you might be out of luck when it comes to the rain here, at least for a little bit. We're not totally done with the rain just yet. We may have some more tonight and tomorrow, and that's what I was going to get to here in our chat here on Wave Weather Now, but Mother Nature's got other ideas. Ricky says, nothing in Henry County. It's all around us, but not a drop here. Yep. That's the way it's been going for a lot of folks today. Lori's asking about Meade County. Not seeing anything in Meade County just yet, but one of those outflow boundaries is moving through. So that could set off additional storms here shortly. We'll see, Lori. Nothing right now. Shonda says the wind isn't impressive. The rain is another story. Yeah, if these storms don't move or fizzle, I'm going to have to watch that flooding potential closely. Basically along I-64, right in the heart of the city, and the suburbs as well. Let's see. Julie says nothing in Madison and Jefferson County, Indiana all day. We're so dry. Yeah, everybody's getting dry. Everybody's getting dry. We do have some more rain chance to talk about next week. I wouldn't get too excited about it, but it's there. So we'll talk about it here as soon as we can. Hopefully these storms start to behave in the next few minutes. Let's see. Emma Jean is in Willisburg, Kentucky. Had a good rain earlier. Let me go down to that part of the world because there still is. That's a pretty good downpour right over Willisburg, or moving out. It's not severe, but that'll be crossing out towards Harrodsburg here in the next few minutes. But Emma Jean, we appreciate your report as always. Misty Lee says it is thundering in PRP. Yeah, there's no rain yet in PRP. That might change shortly, depending on what these outflow boundaries do. But there's nothing imminent. But you can definitely hear the thunder from a long ways with these things. And if thunder roars, what do? Go indoors. Cliche, I know. But it's true. It's true. Joyce says Breckenridge County got some heavy rain earlier in Hardinsburg. Yeah, this was really the first of these more widespread storms started in Breckenridge County earlier today. Well, really just an hour or two ago, to be honest with you. Grace says it's pretty rough in Jeffersonville. It's not severe. It's not severe, Grace, so don't stress about that. But yeah, it's certainly a loud storm with some pretty heavy rain. No question. Let's see. And again, kind of going off script here since we had that severe storm in Shelby County. We're just going to kind of babysit these storms together here on radar. There's no tornado threat, by the way. Let's make that very clear. If there was a tornado threat, I'd be in the other studio waiting to potentially go on air. But that is not a concern tonight, so take comfort in that. Jetta says Shelbyville got a good storm, the severe storm. I'll go back to it. Heavy rain, wind, lightning. Yeah, thankfully this storm is showing signs of weakening. So that's good. There's still the warning where you see that yellow box, that big bright yellow box is a severe thunderstorm warning that continues technically until 7:15. But I will say this storm has weakened quite a bit. It's moving out of Simpsonville. It's moved through Finchville. If you live near Southville, Hemp Ridge, basically south of I-64 in Shelby County. Still head inside. Let this thing go through. Give it, I don't know, 15 minutes, and you should be okay. We haven't gotten any reports of damage from that particular storm just yet. Victoria says, me and the kids are stuck in my truck in New Albany. Yeah, ride this thing out, Victoria, if you can, because that is very, I mean very heavy rain moving through New Albany as we speak. Truman says nothing in Mount Washington. Not yet. Not yet, that's for sure. Kimberly asking about Henry County. We talked about Henry County earlier. Nothing right now. We can't rule it out later this evening, but right now, nothing going on in Henry County. Any rain for Fern Creek? Thomas asks. Not right now, my friend. Not right now. However, I will say these storms to the north in St. Matthews, Crescent Hill, Indian Hills are trying to meander east and maybe a little southeast. So Fern Creek, you could get something here shortly. These summertime downpours, guys, are so difficult to nail down. Not only when they develop, but how long they linger. And I'll just be honest with you, the forecast models have not done a very good job today. Like, not very good. They've been okay, but they haven't been great. So it's been a tough forecast for sure. Katie's got a fantastic question. Sorry if I missed you saying anything about this earlier. What about the Racing Louisville game at 7:30? I have not heard anything official, but there's lightning within 8 miles of Lynn Family Stadium. So I do not expect that game to start on time. But I will do my best to get that information as soon as I can. In fact, let me see if the computers will behave for me again. Again, very heavy rain in eastern Jefferson County, east of downtown Louisville, Crescent Hill, St. Matthews, let's say down towards Westport Road, the Watterson between 71 and 64, 71, Interstate 71, all the way through Jefferson County. Very heavy rain. Springhurst, Prospect. That rain continues to come down at the moment. My mom just texted me. They are in Clarksville shopping, it looks like, or getting dinner or something. Monsoon, vivid cloud to ground lightning. Yeah, there's a ton of lightning with this thing. 62 lightning strikes just in that little zone you see right there along the Ohio River. Floyd County, Southern Clark County, Jefferson County. What does that say? 52 or 62? It doesn't matter. There's over 50 lightning strikes with this thing right now. That is a lot of lightning. You got to get inside. If you see lightning, if you hear thunder, head inside. World Fest, I certainly hope, took precautions. And a lot of those organizations are really, really good about taking care of the people that are at their events, thankfully. So, oh good, the computer's going to work for me now. So bear with me here for a second. I don't like awkward silence either, so I'll try to keep talking as much as I can. Just got to get all my sources set up here so I can stay connected to what is happening as this storm rolls on through. Again, severe thunderstorm warning is only for Shelby County at this time. Spencer County, you have been cleared from that warning. And there's really not much left with this storm. I mean, there's not much of anything other than heavy rain. That's about it. Heavy rain continues for places like Southville, areas along Highway 53 as you're moving away from Shelbyville. So if you're going south on 53, heavy rain continues there. So, again, we'll watch that storm since it is severe technically, but I would not be surprised if the Weather Service drops that severe thunderstorm warning here shortly. Across the rest of wave country, we'll do southern Kentucky first. It's pretty quiet. It looks good. That's where most of the action has been up until the last hour or so. And again, there's still that chance for additional downpours to develop, especially overnight tonight and early tomorrow. So we're not totally done with this quite yet. We're getting there. Though, I promise you. So again, severe thunderstorm warning continues for Shelby until 7:15, but that storm continues to weaken rather quickly. Let's go to southern Indiana, north of the Ohio River, because there are a few downpours developing in Jackson County. Seymour, very heavy rain. Not much lightning, so that's good. But still very heavy rain over Seymour at the moment, and also down towards Medora, there in southwestern Jackson County, Indiana. In Scott County, Indiana, we've got one little shower outside of Austin, near Crothersville, around that Scott-Jackson County line. But none of that stuff is severe, and it's been struggling to do much of anything. Notice how they just kind of go up, produce a bunch of heavy rain for 20 minutes, and then they fade. So that's what's happening up to the north. The main concern, to be quite honest with you guys, is this thing right on the Ohio River. It's not severe. I want to make that very, very clear. It is not a severe storm per se. However, it is producing very heavy rain. There is quite a bit of lightning, and there may be some gusty winds in there too. Haven't seen much at this time. Let me double check, make sure I haven't missed anything. Yeah, there's not a huge amount of wind, so that's good. The Weather Service is watching it, though, for maybe 30 or 40 mile per hour winds. But the main issue is the buckets of rain that are coming down as we speak. So, Katie, to go back to your question about the Racing Louisville game, again, I have not heard anything just yet. I'm checking my sources now to make sure that I haven't missed anything, and it doesn't look like I have. But I have a very hard time seeing that game start at 7:30. Very hard time seeing that happen. But you never know. So we'll continue to keep you informed as the evening goes on. They'll get that match in at some point tonight. It just might take a while. Rebecca says pouring in Mount Vernon seems pretty strong. I take it, Rebecca, you're in Mount Vernon, Indiana? Or no, I'm thinking of North Vernon. Sorry. Yeah, that would make sense down in Mount Vernon for sure. So again, guys, it is 6:57. I'm talking a little longer than I usually do because of the busy radar that we have had over the last little bit. Brandon's on my he's on my bandwagon here. Good evening, Carson. I'm ready for a big cool down. Yes, please. And we do have a decent cool down coming up. A couple of cool downs, actually. Pat says Jeffersonville has a lot of rain, thunder, lightning. Appreciate that report. Graham is at World Fest right now. I don't know why I said Summerfest. Graham is at World Fest. Great. Graham, I hope you got somewhere inside to go. Actually, if you don't mind, Graham, if you're still watching, let me know kind of how they're handling things over there. Make sure everything's okay. Deb says nothing in Valley Station. Yeah, all the action's been north and south of Valley Station today. That is for sure. Shively, David asks, same thing. A lot of the storms are north of you right now. I'll zoom in on the metro a little closer. And there is an outflow boundary, another one, right through the metro from from, let's say, Hirschborn Parkway and I-64. So Plainview, J-Town, Okolona, the airport, Shively, PRP. So there's a little outflow boundary moving right through Jefferson County that may set off additional storms. That has not happened yet. And something that could be working in our favor as far as additional storms through the evening is we're starting to lose that heat of the day. We're starting to cool down a little bit. So that could work in our favor here as we go through this evening. Lori says we've had decent rain today in Bardstown, Bloomfield, in that particular area. Yeah, there's been quite a few storms go through Nelson County today. That is for sure. Lisa's got a good question. How long do you think this is going to last in Jeffersonville? Well, I'll be honest with you, Lisa. It might be a while. It could be at least another half hour because this thing's just not moving. It is not moving. It's not moving away. It's moving west to east like this, but it keeps building behind. So it's just like trains on a track. So it could be a little while longer before this thing. I don't think this storm is going to move out of Jeffersonville. I think it is just going to sit, and eventually it just has to rain itself out. Just let all of the rain come out of the clouds, and then it'll be gone. And that's how it usually goes with these summertime storms. Kathy needs the rain at PRP. Yeah, we mentioned Shively PRP a minute ago. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. We'll see if that changes here in the next little bit. We appreciate everybody watching on a Saturday night on a holiday weekend. I keep forgetting it's Labor Day weekend because I'm laboring. It's a labor of love, though. We're here to keep you guys safe all the time, 24/7, 365. The weather never stops. That's why we're here. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. Jason is watching in Cloverport. Jay says, I think these guys got caught off guard. That is absolutely false. We have been advertising this risk for strong storms all day. It just took a while for these storms to get going. So we did not get caught off guard whatsoever. I've been here since 1 o'clock this afternoon, babysitting radar. So there's that. Let's see. Thank you for the update. Storming and windy in Jeffersonville. No surprise there. Appreciate you watching, my good friend. All right. Leandra says there's thousands of people outside of Kroger Field. What's going on? All right. Let's focus on Lexington for a minute. We're still watching the heavy rain along the Ohio River, but I got to get to Lexington because there's a ton of people that have driven from Wave Country to Lexington for the UK game tonight. Here's the view of Lexington itself at the moment as of 7:02. We've got very heavy rain along I-64 right through Fayette County, right through Lexington. I will say there is no lightning at this time with this pocket of heavy rain. That could still change. Let's check the motion on these downpours. They're moving east, so that is also a good thing. So at Kroger Field right now, you probably see very dark skies with these downpours around you, but they are moving along. They're moving faster than the storms we've got over the metro, the Louisville metro at this time. So if you're at Kroger Field, I don't know if the gates have been shut. I don't know if they're in lightning protocols. I couldn't tell you right now. But be patient. Please be patient. Well, DeAndre answered my question. They are not letting anybody into Kroger Field at the moment. Okay. I did not. That's good information. I appreciate that, Leandra. Let us know when they do open those gates at Kroger Field. Kickoff was supposed to be at 7:45. That's not going to happen. If they're not letting folks in the gate yet, then there's no way they're going to start at 7:45. So take comfort in that. But as far as what we're seeing on radar, there is no lightning. at this point with any of this activity in Lexington. And as we zoom things out, the next closest storm is this thing in Shelby County, right here. Now, that storm I just circled was the severe storm earlier. But as we talked about, that storm has weakened significantly, and the Weather Service has allowed the severe thunderstorm warning to expire. So, big picture reset. There are no warnings of any kind at this time. No more severe thunderstorm warnings. But there are still heavy storms in the area. So for Lexington in particular, we've got this one storm that is moving away, moving down I-64, but we'll have to watch these storms in Shelby County and also in the Louisville Metro to make sure that they don't make it to Lexington as the evening progresses. So again, Leandra, thanks for that update on the situation at Kroger Field. It always rubs me the wrong way when they make people wait outside the gates when a thunderstorm is nearby, but that's another conversation for another day. Kathy says, must be nice. E-Town hasn't gotten anything. Yeah, just a few sprinkles, if anything, right? So yeah, there's that. Kathy reporting from E-Town. Laura says New Albany's still getting hammered. Yeah, this thing's not moving. And I do not like that. There's no flash flood warnings yet. And then, another thing working in our favor tonight, guys, is because we've been so dry in August, we can take some of this heavy rain. If this keeps going for another 30 minutes, we may have problems. But at least for the time being, we can handle this kind of heavy rain because the ground is so dry. It's just going to take it up, no problem. It's those roadways that you got to worry about. They cannot take water well a lot of times. So if you're heading out this evening, just be careful. Just be careful. Take it slow. Watch for hydroplaning, things of that nature. Give yourself space between you and all the other cars around you. And it looks like we got new little blips popping up near Germantown, right over U of L campus. Good thing U of L's not playing tonight, right? Good thing they got that game done earlier today without issue. So new downpours trying to get going in Germantown and over U of L, right along Eastern Parkway. Let's see. Yeah, that's Eastern Parkway. Near St. X, near Audubon Hospital, if you're familiar with any of those landmarks around town. Another downpour right over U of L, like we've mentioned. So again, this is going to be the story, guys, for, I'd say, the next hour at least, until we can lose the heat of the day and all these outflow boundaries can get out of here. And we can calm things down just a little bit. These summertime storms are tough to figure out when they'll stop. That's the biggest struggle, is when will these things come to an end? A lot of the models can't pick out these outflow boundaries and things like that keep some of these storms going longer than we would like them to. So, all right, new report from Lexington from Leandra. Letting us in now. Good deal. Good deal. Got to stay in the concourse still because there's a lightning hole, but the gates at Kroger Field are back open. So that's good. Good. Good to hear that. Leandra, keep us posted if you can on your Kroger Field lightning delay venture. Hate you guys have to go through that. As an avid sports fan myself, I've been through plenty of weather delays. They are not fun. They are not fun at all. But hey, you know what? It's a night game. They can go till 2 o'clock in the morning, get that game done if they have to. So to reset, big picture, it is 7:09, beg your pardon. My name is Carson Meredith. We are tracking some heavy storms rolling through wave country on this Saturday evening, the last day of August. We've only had one severe thunderstorm warning tonight. That was for Shelby County. Came out about 6:20 or 6:30 this evening. That has been allowed to expire. The main issue all day has been heavy rain and lightning. For a lot of the big events around wave country, we've come away unscathed without any delays, but that has not been the case here over the last little bit. As this heavier storm, really the strongest storm of the day, in my opinion, has just parked right over the Ohio River, right across from downtown Louisville. Very close to World Fest, which is, of course, a huge event every Labor Day weekend around here. The heavy rain continues in New Albany, even out into the Knobs, Blackiston Mill, IUS. If you live near the IUS campus, you're obviously still seeing very heavy rain. Into Clark County, Clarksville, Jeffersonville. And see, this is the funny thing about these summertime storms, guys. Clarksville and Jeffersonville are just getting drenched. And Sellersburg, 5 miles up the road, is like, hey, what are you guys talking about? There's nothing up here. It's just fascinating how isolated these storms can be this time of year, especially. Further into Jefferson County, we've got widespread torrential rain in northeast Louisville. From Prospect, Wolf Pen Branch Road, Highway 42, Brownsboro Road near Ballard, Norton Commons, very heavy rain. Springhurst, along Westport Road, Barbermead, Tom Sawyer State Park, near the Ford Truck Plant, Long River Road, up towards Captain's Quarters, Utica. Basically anybody that lives along 265, Gene Snyder, Lee Hamilton, whatever you want to call it. That heavy rain stretches along I-71 into Oldham County, Crestwood. In particular, Goshen, you're not seeing much. Buckner, a little bit of rain, not heavy yet. LaGrange, you're probably not seeing a drop at this point. And a new downpour, or those new downpours, continue to get going. A couple miles to the south, right across from U of L, Parkway Village, Germantown, near Audubon Park, Audubon Hospital, the Highlands. That particular area continues to see this heavy downpour as well. Okay. To the comments we go. 520 of you are watching on our social platforms right now. Thank you to each and every one of you for watching. We appreciate it. We would not have our jobs if it weren't for you guys trusting us. So thank you. It means a lot. Alexandria says, hope this cools down the temperatures. It will. It will eventually. Might have to wait just a little bit, but there's a couple of cool downs that we'll be talking about here shortly. I'll get to that stuff here in a second. I promise you. Sandy says nothing in Fern Creek. Lori says the same thing. We'll see what these downpours do to your north. They may want to come south. We'll see. The general motion has been for these storms to go this way today. Go to the east. So Fern Creek's right in here. You might have to bank on some storms firing up near Auburndale and Okolona to get some good rain in Fern Creek. So hope that makes sense. Stephanie says raining, windy, lightning still in New Albany. Thank you for that report, Stephanie. Marlene's in Madison, Indiana says, I haven't seen any rain yet. Where's our rain in Madison, Indiana? Well, there's not much, I'm afraid. I don't know if these downpours in Jackson County are going to make it. In Seymour and Medora, I don't know if they'll get to Madison. They could, but they look like they're weakening. So, might have missed out today, Marlene, I'm afraid. Let's see. Karen says Weather Service had a 24-mile-per-hour gust at the airport a few minutes ago. Yeah, that's with that outflow boundary. that gust front, that punch of wind rolling through. So that's not surprising. That's a good little gust front for sure. Thomas says still heavy rain, a lot of wind in Clarksville. Yeah, there's definitely a little wind with that storm. There's no question about that. Let me go back to that particular storm. And again, we're not ignoring anybody else in our area. It's just things have quieted down aside from right here in the middle of the city, in the middle of it all. So the heavy rain continues across northeast Louisville, New Albany, Jeffersonville, stretching all the way into Prospect, Indian Hills, Linden, Springhurst, and Crestwood. When thunder roars, go indoors, my friends. Don't want you guys getting struck by any of that lightning. That is not our friend. Make sure we're not missing any new reports from the Weather Service, in addition to that 24-mile-per-hour gust report that we've gotten from them. And again, there's no severe thunderstorm warnings anymore. There was that one for Shelby County a few minutes ago, but that is gone. No warnings at this time. Haven't seen anything pop up yet, which is good as far as damage reports. Make sure I'm not missing anything. I think we just heard a little rumble of thunder here at the station downtown. So again, this is the heaviest storm we have in our area at this time. It is right over parts of Jefferson County, Kentucky, here in Louisville, southern Clark County, eastern Floyd County, so New Albany, Clarksville, the Knobs, and into Oldham County, Crestwood and Buckner in particular. So that's where things are at this point. One of our engineers giving me trouble here. And let's just go ahead and kind of shift gears here, since we have nothing severe at the moment. Let's actually get into what I was planning on talking about with you tonight. Which is what we have coming up over the next few days. All right. So I'll do another radar update here in a minute. Get you outside, Spaghetti Junction. You can see that heavy rain in the distance over northeast Louisville. The temperature has dropped considerably as these storms have rolled through. 81 is our current temperature at the airport. You can see some of those dark clouds from the Kentucky Mesonet cameras. If you were down in central Kentucky today, you saw highs in the low 90s. Louisville, we got up to 94. That was a lot hotter than we expected, and that's really part of the reason why some of these storms are hanging around longer than we thought. We expected at least a few storms to still linger this evening, but not quite as many as what we've had here in the last couple of hours. But you know what? At least we're not talking about triple-digit heat, right? Finally, that is gone. It's not in the forecast anytime soon, and I hope it doesn't come back for a long time. But the 90s are still here. Today was day 47 with highs in the 90s, which means we're getting closer to fall. 22 days, my friends, until we start autumn. Who's ready for it? Type in the comments if you're ready for fall. I am. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Okay, tonight, we will keep that chance for scattered storms around. Will there be as many storms this evening and overnight as what we're seeing now? No. But remember, all of these storms today are thanks to a stalled front nearby. A stalled cold front, really. It's not much of a cold front, but it is technically a cold front. It is stalled out and right over wave country, and it's not going to move for a while. So even though we lose that heat of the day, we could still have a few thunderstorms try to flare up overnight tonight. Will it be as widespread as what we've had this afternoon, this evening. Hopefully not. But we'll still keep those storm chances around, especially south of Louisville. And that's where the highest storm chances will be tomorrow. So when you look at this map, where you see the word higher, the darker green color, Litchfield, E-Town, Bardstown, down towards Springfield, Willisburg, Greensburg, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Columbia, Mumfordville, you guys have a better shot at seeing more downpours Sunday. The further north you go, across all of southern Indiana, into Louisville, Corydon, well, that's southern Indiana, but you get the idea. Brandenburg, Hardinsburg, LaGrange, Carrollton, Bedford, Newcastle, Eminence, Shelbyville, Simpsonville. There's a very good chance that if you live in those towns, you stay totally dry tomorrow. Maybe a downpour very early in the morning on Sunday if you're heading out for church services near sunrise. But a lot of us will stay dry tomorrow, especially north of the parkways. If you live south of the parkways, down in central southern Kentucky, you can see a few scattered storms as this cold front finally gets a move on. Here's Futurecast. Small chance for additional storms to flare up overnight tonight. They will not be severe. They might wake you up, but they will not be severe. As we go through the early morning hours tomorrow, note this little line of downpours that tries to develop along I-64. That is the cold front. So as we see the sun come up tomorrow, heat things up a little bit, that's when those downpours could begin. Mainly south of Louisville. You see that narrow little line scooting south by 10 o'clock in the morning. It's down towards E-Town, Bardstown, Litchfield, Lebanon, so on and so forth. And then by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we are all done with the rain, thankfully. So small little storm chance to watch tomorrow morning and early tomorrow afternoon, mainly south of Louisville across central and southern Kentucky. Hope that makes sense. And that gives way, ladies and gentlemen, to a glorious Labor Day. Fantastic. Clouds move out, lots of sun, very comfortable, with highs for most of us in the low 80s on Monday. So if you got the day off Monday, make outside plans. I'm going to try to make some outside plans on Monday. But it will feel very, very pleasant, especially for Labor Day standards. It's still usually hot and humid on Labor Day, but not this year. So if you got the day off, make some plans outside. I'm going to do the 10-day real quick. We're going to check radar one more time, and then I'm going to sign off because I need to rest my voice so I can do our forecast tonight at 11. But let's see who's ready for fall. A lot of you are. I love it. Shonda says, yeah, I am. Let's go. Rita says, I've been ready. Love it. Juanita says, me. NJ says, ready. Well, Vicky, I get you. Fall, yes. Winter, no. That's when you want to think short term, right? Just focus on fall. Don't worry about winter yet. Just focus on fall, right? But you're right, Vicky. You're right. Very true. Beyond ready for fall. Asking about Frankfurt catching a storm. Hold that thought. I'm going to show you radar again here in a sec. There's the 10-day. Still warm tomorrow. So this front that is stalled out tonight, it's not obviously going to move through tomorrow. So it's still going to be on the warmer side and a little humid. So that's why our high tomorrow is 89. Then the front moves through Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and we cool down on Monday. 83. Looks great. Even the early part of next week looks good, just in general. Tuesday and Wednesday, not too bad. Late next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, couple of features we're watching, one of which is a low down to our south that might bring in some moisture, give us a few showers. And there will also be another cold front that moves in likely by Friday of next week. And as both of those systems get out of here, look at next weekend. 70s for highs. I know we had that little fall preview back in August or earlier in August, but I don't know. It just feels more real we're talking about highs in the 70s in September, which will likely be the case next weekend. So highs in the 70s, lows in the 50s. Are we done with the summer heat? I'm not ready to say that just yet. But I like the trends. I like where we're going. So no 90s in the 10-day, no 100s in the 10-day. None of that anytime soon. So things are looking up once we get past tonight and even the early part of tomorrow. All right, I'm going to go to radar one more time, and then I'm going to hush and hopefully get some food. Haven't had my dinner break yet. Been watching radar all night. One last look at radar. We're still going to have these scattered showers and storms around. The coverage should drop as the evening goes on, but the chance will not be zero. So don't be caught off guard if you hear rumbles of thunder overnight tonight. You wake up, you hear that rumble. Don't be surprised. Don't stress. It won't be severe. Obviously, I know some of you not huge fans of storms. I get it. I used to be terrified of them, but for some of us, it could be good sleeping weather tonight, especially across Kentucky. I'll zoom in on that storm over the metro. Still producing pretty heavy rain in Clark County and northeast Louisville into Oldham County. It has weakened, and it's starting to weaken and continue to weaken, which is a very good thing. So hopefully we won't have any major flooding issues. But we will continue to monitor that storm closely. For Lexington, for the UK game, which will, from what it sounds like, will be a delayed start. Storms are moving out at the moment. There's still some heavier downpours on the east side of Lexington, but I do not see any lightning at this time. There are, however, additional storms to the west in Shelby, Franklin, Anderson counties that could move towards Lexington through the evening, and we will continue to monitor those closely as well. Even though Lexington is its own different TV land, we will still send alerts to Kroger Field on the Wave Weather app. So if anybody's watching us at Kroger Field, we will send you alerts as needed throughout the evening. Additional little downpours continue across Greene County, Kentucky, moving into Adair County. Those are not severe, but heads up if you live in Greensburg, really south of Greensburg, near the XC community, Bramlett, Pierce. You guys are going to be seeing some heavier downpours here in the next 15 to 30 minutes. And there's also, before I forget, don't want to forget about our friends in our far northern areas. Heavy rain continues in Jackson County, Indiana. Seymour, Crothersville, Uniontown, still seeing that heavy rain. A few more downpours trying to get going still near Medora and even into Washington County, Indiana, north of Campbellsburg, north of Salem. But again, nothing is severe at this time. I do not anticipate additional severe weather, but there could still be scattered storms through this evening and overnight tonight, with the highest of those storm chances being south of Louisville. And we'll keep that trend going into the first half of your Sunday as well. Okay. Any last minute comments, questions, thoughts, concerns before we wrap things up? Again, I appreciate everybody watching. Went way longer than I expected, but that's okay. That's okay. You guys want to know about what's happening in your backyard? That's what we're here to talk about. This isn't good. Jocelyn says, flooding in New Albany, my backyard's underwater. That's not good. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully that will not last long, Jocelyn. Once we see these rainfall rates ease, that should give enough time for that backyard to drain, hopefully. We'll keep our fingers crossed about that. Appreciate it, Weather Geek. Not tired of your voice. Very thankful for the updates. Very kind. That's what we're here for. Kevin says he's ready for next spring. Wow, Kevin, you're getting way ahead of all of us. That's okay. That's all right. Everybody's got their own season. That's fine. All right, guys, that's going to do it for now. Again, appreciate you watching. As always, we will have our newscast tonight on Wave News at 11 o'clock. We do have a college football game on tonight on NBC. So as soon as that game ends, we will be on your TV screens for Wave News at 11. And if we do have an additional severe weather alerts this evening, I don't foresee them, but it's not out of the question. But I will come back on Wave Weather Now here on the digital side of things on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and on our live stream on wave3.com to provide those updates. Again, I don't anticipate that, but I'll be watching the radar as the evening goes on. We appreciate you watching here on Wave Weather Now and on Wave TV, of course. I'll see you again tonight after college football on Wave News at 11. Stay dry. When thunder roars, go indoors. Good night.